for those who are politically wise, a show about the lives of Christians in Ohio involved with politics. Introducing your host, Reverend Thomas Wise.
Greetings, my fellow patriots, saints, and sinners. The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise. At the end of the show, there will be a blessing. Don't miss it. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Next time you're thinking about beating the train, think again. It takes a typical freight train traveling 50 miles an hour, 1.5 miles to stop. That's nearly 18 football fields. Don't try to beat the train. Ohio's roads can be highways or dieways. The choice is yours. A message from Operation Lifesaver and this station.
The opinions and statements on this show belong to those who give them. The rest of the show belongs to Thomas Wise Words, all rights reserved. The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise.
Hello, my listeners. This is Reverend Thomas Wise. The show is called Politically Wise. I'm interviewing Representative Robert Bob Hackett.
Yes, sir.
In his office today. Bob, tell my listeners about yourself.
Yeah, and just give you a little of my background is that I'm in my third term. It's now called the 74th District as state rep. It includes all of Madison County, 3 townships in Clark, and then the eastern part of Greene County. I do have Xenia and everything east and south of that. My background is before I was a state rep, I was a county commissioner in Madison County for 2 terms. In addition, I own a good-sized financial services, financial planning, investment advisory group. So I have a lot of clients. I specialize in working in retirement planning and in working with businesses and employee benefits. So I have a lot of good contacts. Was president out of Lake Choctaw, which is like a 900-home unit. Was on the hospital board. So I actually they came to me and asked me if I'd be interested in running for county commissioner, and after I did that for 2 terms, they came to me and asked if I'd be interested in running for state rep. So just part of it's just being in the right place at the right time. But I think I bring good skills. I'm chairman of the insurance committee, and so I have good insurance background, and I'm degreed and have accreditations in insurance. I'm on local government committee, being an ex-commissioner. I was on the health committee for a number of years. I was on a hospital board. I do employee benefits. I do have financial investments, so I'm on the financial institution committee. So I felt I brought really good strengths in certain areas that a lot of times reps don't bring in. And so those are the committees that I wanted to be on, and I'm the chairman of one of the major committees. So, yeah, I'm happy where I'm at.
You said you have a bachelor's degree?
Yeah, I have a BA degree in economics from Columbia University. Yeah, and governors always kid me about how I got in Columbia, but actually was a good football player. I tell people, my dad was an All-American at Ohio State, and all 4 of us boys played Division I football. So football really helped get you into really quality schools. So I was lucky to get a good education in the Ivy League, and being a good football player really helped.
Yeah, and your father was a professional?
Yeah, my dad was All-American, really good college football player, but was in a car accident and could never play past that. So then Dad was in vet school at Ohio State and became a veterinarian and had a nice vet practice. And then he became an agribusiness executive. And then he's the one that started that large cattle feedlot initially in South Charleston called Ohio Feedlot, which he got out of probably 8-10 years later because it was a very tough business and a situation. And Dad, before that, was also involved because he had played for Paul Brown, was involved with a group that got the Bengals started. So we have ties. We have really good sports ties.
Your bio says you go to St. Patrick's?
Yes. I'm a Catholic, long-time Catholic. Was an altar boy for a number of years, et cetera. And I think the Catholic background really helps in a situation like that. I mean, when you look at what they've accomplished and I've accomplished since I've been there, we're very, very pro-life. And so we probably have got more pro-life bills through the legislature ever in Ohio. So there's been a real focus on that, and I was on the health committee, and we haven't accomplished everything we wanted, but we've accomplished a lot.
Yes.
We really have, and I think people are real appreciative of that. We really respect it, and that's my style. I really love people and get along well with people, and I think my religious background has taught me through the years how to work with people, et cetera, and I really look at the good in people. in a situation like that. Get along very well with the Democrats and my mayors. They're both Republican and Democrat, and I really like my mayors. They're great people, and so I think religion. If you look at most of us, I think religion plays a major role in a lot of legislators, because I think you're trying to do the right thing.
I know this was not a question that I vetted you with, but does the Madison County Commissioners, they start their meetings in prayer?
They don't. And we do this over here in committees. I do mine at times. I don't do it every one. I do it at times. I have a buddy who's chairman of local governments. He does it every time in a situation like that. So we phase it. This morning we had a real unique thing. We had a prayer breakfast. Actually had 3 breakfasts, show how hard we work. So I started at a prayer breakfast and then was with the job and family and the children's services directors, and then was with the fire chief. So from 7 to 8:30, no, I didn't eat 3 breakfasts, but I am gaining weight. But it shows you, that we got up. It's how important it was that we made a prayer breakfast this morning, a number of us, and we think that's important.
Who had the prayer breakfast?
Yeah, it's non-denominational. They do it once a year. It's outside a group of area ministers do it in a situation like that. So it's neat, and they do it once a year.
That wasn't Dan Whistler's.
No. And I'm not sure.
Was it here? Was it in the State House?
Actually, it was over. It's usually in the atrium, but it was taken. It was over in the Sheraton this time. It was the annual prayer breakfast. It was in the Sheraton on that scenario. So So I ran in, said hi, and then made my rounds, and then they started the program where they did initial prayers, and then as they were given a sermon type, then I zipped over. I had to jump out and zip over to meet my job and family directors. That's one of the problems is when you look at my schedule is that there's just not enough hours in the day. I go from 6 in the morning to 11 at night. And especially when you have 2 businesses, I'm one of those guys that work 7 days a lot. Yeah, people want to know when the weekend is, and to me, the weekend never comes because you have to work so hard sometimes in this position. But everybody knows me. You can tell from my style is I'm high energy. So I have no problem working hard.
And we will be right back after the break.
Partnership with Liberty Prayer Network. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Council. We'll talk about this next on Freedom's Call. An intercessory prayer ministry has now officially merged with Liberty Council and brought to life the Liberty Prayer Network. Through prayer, we will intercede for the United States, biblically based public policy, and champions of life, liberty, and the family. While praying for our nation, we remain committed to standing with Israel and partnering with those from other nations who uphold religious freedom, the sanctity of human life, and the family. We are enlisting prayer patriots to take a stand in their home states, lifting high the torch of liberty and calling others to worship God and to pray for His blessings. If you would like to join the Liberty Prayer Network, call us today at 1-800-671-1776. That's 800-671-1776. Or visit our website at lc.org.
The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise.
I mean, actually, an economic question.
Yes, sir.
What do you think in Ohio here? Are we gaining ground? Are we losing ground economically?
And that's a great question. I think the focus of us, a lot of us that came in 6 years ago, we had really strong business backgrounds, and our focus by far is getting more Ohioans working. So if you look back from when we started, and Ohio was going through a process of losing 400,000 jobs, since Governor Kasich's been in there, we've put in 238,000 jobs. And you've seen the unemployment rate come down. The last figures were good. And we're not resting on our laurels. We're not satisfied. So the numbers have been there because, the key, and I think everything is most people, not only do we want them to have good job or have to be working, but we also want to focus on getting people better trained to improve their skills. So we do have a lot of working poor, and we'd love to see the working poor, move up to the next level. We really would in a situation like that, and enjoy, be better trained to improve their lot in life.
So your district, how's your district looking economically?
Yeah, actually it's good. Just to give you an example, Madison County, which was running as a deficit, now the commissioners reported to me this week, they have over 1 million. They'll have over 1 million of carryover. Green is really the economic driver of my district because of Wright Pat. I've talked to the commissioners. They had expected a little better turnaround, but remember, sequester is there, and that's hurt a little with Wright Pat. So that has an economic. And of the cities, the big cities, Dayton's come back the slowest. You know, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland have come back a little stronger than Dayton. But the push in Dayton has been strong. The Dayton Development Coalition does great work, and we're pushing hard in a situation like that. So yeah, you know, my environment is getting better. It really is on that situation. I mean, when you head home, looking 70 and 29 in Madison County, look at all the new development of jobs that we brought in Madison County, and we're seeing the same thing in Clark and the same thing in Greene. So our focus, you'll hear me say this many times, is on jobs. It really is.
Is there a big ag district?
Yes, and that's a good question, and that's what I had. There are actually three reps for Madison, Clark, and Greene. One rep had Springfield and outside. The other rep had Beaver Creek, Xenia, and Fairborn. That got changed because Springfield had lost so much population, and I gave up some of my Clark. But now I have Xenia. It was a little too much, so I lost Bellbrook and Clifton and Yellow Springs. But I have about 15,000 more constituents now in Greene County, same amount in Madison, and I have about 20,000 less in Clark County.
So is the prisons in your area?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm on that.
Madison County has a prison there, too.
Two of them. London on one side, Madison on the other. And because of my background of being a commissioner, they put me on that. It's called CIIC, and it's the Special Legislative Oversight Committee, and we do surprise inspections in the prisons, and I've been on that for the start. I've been through probably 15 surprise inspections of prisons. I mean,
so you've been in jail a lot.
I've been in jail a lot. Well, you know, it was cute was when I went to the Madison ones, so many people knew me, even a couple of the prisoners knew me on that. You know, when you grow up and know everybody in an area, it's amazing how the people from Columbus were amazed how many people that worked in the prison knew me on that. So, because you grow up with people.
Yeah, you grow up with people. So, I'm glad that was a good work to go in and be a part of that. Oftentimes, that's a tough business.
Well, and even to say is, I'm going to tell you, the faith base helps us tremendously. I mean, it really helps us. You know, the groups that come in. I mean, they really know. One of the downsides of being in tough economic times is they had to make cuts, and I was really concerned that we weren't getting. We weren't rehabilitating prisoners, and maybe the rehabilitation they were getting was how to be better criminals. And so, but that happens with the cuts. And, we went through some really difficult times in the state. And so we have, the faith-based groups do a phenomenal job in my area. I have a couple good friends, and I mean, they do a great job. So we're going to start to see that more, I think, in education. If you look at the governor's last speech, he wants more of the private sector to be able to be used in the educational system. And a lot of us, be used for free. That we'll donate our expertise and our time, et cetera. Because that's what makes us strong, I think, when we all work together. But I can't thank the faith-based groups that have helped in the prisons. They do a really good job. They do.
So what kind of issues are you working on? I mean, other financial, but what kind of bills are you pending?
Yeah, it's a good thing. And I'll tell you I
want to tell my viewers, he wins the messiest death so far I've seen, but I've seen worse. I've seen worse. Budget time around here, and the paper is just filling in the hallways. Yeah, but he's not bad. It's
the Reverend's impressed with my floor filing. I have a floor filing system, and actually, if you saw my financial office, it would mirror this office. So I'll get caught up. We have been so busy, and then I'll explain what we're doing is. We have three main directions right now. One is we're doing what is called the MBR. It's the midterm budget revision bill. And remember, we do a budget every 2 years. So what's unique about this is, and the governors agree, governors like me, we want to move the speed of business. So the governor says when you do a 2-year budget, a lot of it's a guess. So why not take a relook at it? Well, but in addition, the governor, the bill that he's given us is like almost 1,200 pages. There's a lot of policy. So when you look at the bill, and see if I can find it, I had it here. We're already doing a breakdown. here it is. We're taking that bill and we're breaking it down to major committees. So this is all part of it. And I'm showing the Reverend, there's about 9 now major breakdowns. So what will come to me is the Bureau of Workers' Comp reforms. And that's where those 2 people will introduce the bill, and that'll come to my committee, the Insurance Committee. So in my committee, we're working really strong. We have a couple of phenomenal bills. We're working on one of the best regulatory reform bills the insurance industry's had in 30 years. We've been working on that for a couple of years. We're working on a special subsidiary bill called the Captive Insurance Bill that will help our corporations, help our insurance company, also help the consumer. So we're doing really good things in that bill. The other committees, oh my gosh, we got 50 bills in local government, so they're trying to do. The financial institution, we're trying to do. One of the things the Lieutenant Governor, who's also my insurance commissioner, set up that CSI. It's called the Common Sense Initiative. So when a bill is passed, first thing it's reviewed by them to make sure it makes sense, is not putting additional cost on business, etc. So sometimes this system is bad in that it makes legislators really pushing to get bills to be noticed. They want to be noticed, and sometimes they're just developing regulation because a group wants to see more regulations, etc. And that's not all good, because what's the cost of the regulation? So right now we're working real hard on the midterm correction bill. We're doing our capital budget bill, and actually we're just introducing it this week, and you'll see areas all over the state. We haven't had a big capital budget bill since I've been here.
Wow.
My first term, there was none, and you can't blame. I'm not blaming Governor Strickland. We were going really difficult times. My second term, there was only a capital budget for the universities. So this is really my first capital budget bill since I've been here. And it's not going to be a really huge bill. It's going to be like a normal year in a situation like this, under that scenario.
So, if you go down the highway and you're stuck in traffic because of the construction, you can think of Bob Hackett. You can thank your legislator. Government don't really think the governor, right?
Yeah, well, and most of the capital budget bills aren't roads.
Are not
Yeah,
roads.
road bills are more from the gas tax, and that's an area that it's difficult. And a lot of the stuff that's seen on the NBR, the governor wants to increase the cat tax. Just because the governor wants it doesn't always mean it's going to get through in a situation like that. And we've done great tax reform. I mean, this has been a great tax reform governor. I'm a small businessman. In my lifetime, we've got the first small business tax cut. And I'm getting calls everywhere and texts and emails thanking us, because this is the first year in people's lives that they're getting. Any business making under $250,000 a year got a 50% state income tax cut. And that's a phenomenal deal in a situation like that. So we're working on bills in our committee, which are the normal, but we also got huge, that's a huge bill from the governor, and he'll be pushing that. And then we're also working on the capital budget. And a lot of guys are working on their elections, and so we stay really busy.
The show is titled Politically Wise, and I am your host, Reverend Thomas Wise. Do you pray for a politician? Do you think a politician can be a Christian? Do you think a politician should stand up for Christian principles? Do you think politicians should pray together? Do you want to see more Christians in politics? If you said yes to any of these questions, please join the Ohio Prayer Caucus Network. Find the Ohio Prayer Caucus Network on Facebook. Welcome back to Politically Wise. If you want to email me, you may do so at politically.wise@gmail.com. Please like us on our Facebook page, Politically Wise.
So tell me a good day in politics for you.
Yeah. Well, good day is, it goes from early in the morning till late at night. And most of the days of politics are centered Tuesday through Thursday. So Monday and Fridays are more either in the district or I'm with clients, and Saturday and Sunday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we come in and look, today's a typical day. We had the prayer breakfast. I met with my job and family directors and children's service directors, and then the fire chiefs were in. Then I have met with constituents. Oh, I forgot. I rushed to a committee. We had 4 key bills that we got out of the committee of local governments. We had 4 key votes. Then I rushed over to meet individually with some job and family directors from my counties. Then I had to rush over and meet with the Speaker of the House on an issue that needs my help. then I'm rushing back to you. In the meantime, my aides met with 2 groups that came in to see me. So then at about midday, we'll go into caucus. And caucus is where we'll talk about the bills on the floor. And then all afternoon, we'll be voting legislation out. And then tonight, we have a couple events, and then I got to rush over into a community health organization event that runs, so that's where I'll end my day, and that runs from like 7 to 8:30. So I'll be home about 9:30 tonight. And that's a good day. And
That's a good day?
And you can see it's a high energy man. I mean, you don't realize, but my aide stuck her head in saying there's my next interviews ready there to talk to us.
So what's a bad day like?
I think a bad day is frustration, is the slowness. Things move so slow. You can't get things through, so you're frustrated on how slow the system moves sometimes. Sometimes you get frustrated where you know, some of the people even on our side, you know, want to do changes, but changes that'll save dollars, but it'll hurt people. You know, I mean, I'm a fiscal conservative, but I think with my county commissioner and religious background, we still have to take care of people. We have to provide services. The key is getting people back to work. And I always say that. I mean, people, if you talk to people, they're better working in a situation like that. But in Ohio, I mean, half the people aren't working. Now, that includes the retirees and the unemployment, but we have a lot of people in Ohio who are not working. And so we're trying to improve that environment.
Do you have like a guiding scripture?
You know what it is? I mean, being a Catholic and being an altar boy in a situation like that, I mean, I went through 8 grades of parochial. I mean, I was really good. My wife is amazed sometimes at my version of the Bible and the different things in a situation like that. I think being so busy is that we love Sunday, and we want Sunday to be, we want a sermon to get us thinking about how we can be a better person in a situation like that. So, I mean, I'm not going to, being honest, that there's a lot of that I do at times, but it's not frequent as much as I wish. But going to church is frequent in a situation like that. So a lot of the times...
So that's how you keep your head and your heart clear, by going to church?
Yeah, and when I do sometimes, if I don't like the sermon, I shouldn't say this, oh my God, but I'll read back different scriptures and different things, or read ahead in a situation like that, see what the lessons are and what the points they're trying to say in a situation. Because I think when you go to church, you want to be inspired. You want to be thinking, how can I be a better person in a scenario like that? So that's how it is on the situation. I think we all want to be a better Catholic.
An engagement with the Lord,
right?
And you want your spiritual be fed,
right?
And if it's not coming in a sermon, you are seeking it out yourself. Just like anything else, you want to know something, seek it out yourself.
That is a great point.
Don't wait to be preached at. Go ahead and seek the Lord. Seek it out. So that's what you're doing. That's a good thing.
That is a great point.
Who was an example of a mentor for you?
Everybody has great mentors. Dick LeBeau was a famous sports guy, and Dick's a good friend.
Okay.
But we had a famous football coach in London, and he coached for a number of years. And he was very religious, and, we prayed, and was just a good guy in a situation like that. And he really inspired us to make us better people and to make us men. And just say, we had to do the right thing in life. And so he really inspired a lot of people. I was captain of one of his undefeated teams, and we were real successful playing for him because he was. But he taught us that, things come when you work hard. And so he was a great mentor.
What was his name?
Jim Bolus. So he's a great guy. Jim Bolus. Jim Bolus, yeah, and great guy, and inspired many, many people. And like I said, he was our London's high school football coach for 32 years. Other people that, I had a great dad that inspired me. I had a great stepfather. I had a stepfather who was sheriff, still alive, who was sheriff and county commissioner. Herb Markley is great. My dad, Bill Hackett, was great. So I think we got inspired in a situation like that. I'm part of the 60s generation. I went to Columbia during the times, and so there's been a lot goes through you, at our age, what we went through growing up. I like my generation because we tried to make the world better. We weren't as concerned economically as we were saying, let's make this a better world in a situation like that. And So I think I come from a great generation. But, when you get inspired in a situation like that, there was a Father Healy was a good guy growing up. We had different priests, but he was really close to our family, and he was brilliant. And he was the one, when I was going through my late teens and early 20s, when you question things on that, he would help me interpret things in a situation like that. That, at times, there's sometimes people like to have a really strict, definition of the Bible versus, and at times, he would be a little more interpretive of the Bible, literary form. You know what that means in a situation like that. And so he was a unique guy. And he was really patient with me, which, when I objected or if I criticized, et cetera, like that, he didn't say, oh my gosh, that's bad. I think it's good to have minds into question on that. So when I tell young people when they question things, nothing wrong with that. Always have a little paranoia, and especially we're a marketing age. Be careful how people, lead you on. Question the numbers. I always question the numbers.
So what is the best way to get into politics?
Yeah, there's different ways. This is a great question. One way, I see people come in, and they come in as aides, and they work their way up through the system, and they get known in their community. Another way is to be successful in your community and be a person that's given to the community and done a lot for the community and say, hey, this is another way where I can help on that scenario. I thought, I've helped in my community, but I thought, I have good expertise, that I could give as a county commissioner, as a businessman, and as an insurance financial specialist, and then later on as a state rep, that I could really help in a situation like that. We're losing some really good people this next time, that we're losing 4 really brilliant attorneys, the Speaker of the House, Matt Huffman. We're losing some, Jerry Stapleton. We're losing some really sharp guys that we're not seeing as many attorneys come in the field as we have in the past. We still have some, but this used to be a field dominated by attorneys, and and we've had have educators and things, et cetera. But we're getting more and more small business and business people in, which I like, because they're trying to make government run like a business, which isn't all bad.
So who runs your business when you're not here?
I have a partner, and as a planner, I meet with clients. So I'm a retirement planner, so I'm not a stockbroker that I'm getting, people are buying and selling stocks. So I have about $40 million of mutual funds invested in my clients. And so my clients are long-term investors. So I'm doing annual reviews, but clients call me a lot. And my rule is I always get back to clients. But with mutual funds, you're not really getting out of the market that day. You know what I mean? And if you get out, it's at the end of the day. So if a market's down, you're not going to get out before the market gets down. So it's not like buying individual stocks on that. So I just schedule them, and God willing, I'm keeping all my clients. Most of my clients, there's a few that have come to me and said, look, I think you're so busy, maybe I should go. And then I'd say, but where have I gone wrong? Or look at your costs. I'm real good at getting the assets of management down to a low cost, et cetera, on that situation, on that. So I'm getting yelled at by my aide where I should be.
It didn't say a word, just a look.
Yeah. All right. Show you how busy we are.
All right, I think we have covered everything I needed to talk about. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, you've been great, Reverend. You've been great. I appreciate the questions, and I appreciate the good insight you just gave me. That was really good insight. I mean, sometimes we got to stop and smell and listen and search, et cetera. That's probably one of the negatives, is that you're so busy. I worry that I could be a better legislator or a better financial planner, and by combining the both, are they suffering? So that's why I work so hard, because I've always had that driven to do a good job, and sometimes you just gotta, you don't have time. I mean, time is my enemy.
This is Reverend Thomas Wise. The show is called Politically Wise. I've been interviewing Representative Robert, or we call him Bob Hackett, and it is Office of the State House.
Thank you for listening today. If you want to email me, you may do so at politically.wise@gmail.com. Please like us on our Facebook page, Politically Wise. Now, here's your blessing. Blessings today are based on Psalms chapter 17, verses 8 through 14. May God keep you as the apple of his eye. May God hide you in the shadow of his wings. May God save you from the evil men. May God feed you when you are hungry. May God store up wealth for your children. May God cherish your children.